Oh, wow. Okay. I want to thank everybody who texts me. All of my children, like all of my kids, are like, Mom, we cannot hear you. Okay. 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 So this, thank y'all very much. I'm so grateful. This video is going to be a little bit longer because I'm going to go back over that stuff really, really fast. So what you're looking at, and I'm about to speed through this, what you're looking through on the screen is 20 acres of land that's available for land development. Okay, this is ideal for anyone that's interested in purchasing land. You want to start small. 20 acres is not extremely small, but then it's not excessively large either. It's manageable. You can see that it's on road frontage. It's in Morgan County, Alabama. It's not very far from here. My broker has this property listed, and he calls it 20 acres of possibility. And here's why: because there's so many ways that you can cultivate this property. You can live on a portion of it, and you can use the other portion for other purposes. I'm cutting it short because I just spent 17 minutes in silence talking to you guys, and nobody was hearing me. So now I'm going to talk to you about how you can get this land. Some things that I mentioned prior to was how Fannie Mae had modified its underwriting program so that they have removed the minimum FICO score in their underwriting. So they have a desktop underwriting program that's automated, and then there's also a manual underwriting program. Well, in the desktop, the automated program for underwriting, Fannie Mae has a set of guidelines that were programmed into that desktop automated underwriter, right? So what would happen is whenever a loan officer would enter information regarding a borrower, the automated system would just go through all of the parameters to see if the borrower fits within the credit viability parameters. All right, well, what they've done, Fannie Mae they've removed the minimum FICO score requirement from the desktop underwriter, the automated underwriter, which is the type of underwriting that a lot of lenders use. They plug in all of the information. They'll use a manual underwriter if possible, if necessary, but for the most part, they usually, or a large percentage of the time, would use the desktop underwriter, which was contained or had a parameter that was based on the minimum score that had been applied. That's no longer applied. Now what they're doing is they're going about a holistic way of considering factors that are involved. So for people who are concerned about cash reserve or consistency with income or maybe payment history, there are some other ways that you can be found as a viable buyer. They've switched their policies. So they're going to increase the viability of using the Vantage Score 4.0 software as well as the FICO 10T. As I explained, well, you didn't know I was explaining it because you couldn't hear me, so I've got to stop referring to that. The Vantage Score 4.0 is a way for them to predict your credit viability. They can predict what your payment history is going to be. Okay. So I just want to say to you that you're going to like these particular programs because they allow you to go and add things that will create more viability for you. You can add your rent payment, you can add your utilities, you can add your phone bill to the repositories. And these systems over a 24-month period of time will average out and create a predictability as to your credit viability. I am going to stop now, and I'm not going to go over this a whole lot. I just want to say thank you to everybody that's watching, and to everybody, specifically my daughters. Oh, I love them. Adana and Carolyn. Thank you so much for being so persistent to make sure that I understood that I couldn't be heard. Oh my God. Okay, so there was so much information that went forth. The FICO 10T software is a time release view of a person's credit. So they sort of take the long view of your financial behavior. They'll take a time lapse video over 24 months or more, and they'll analyze the payment patterns and balance histories to see if you're maintaining high balances or low balances on your credit line. That's very important in terms of predictability and the type of payment history that you will exemplify in the future. That's just to give you an idea of the modified underwriting guidelines and what they're going to be using now to determine your credit history. Now, it's not that they're not going to use credit repositories. They probably still will. That's been adjusted a little bit, as we mentioned last week, whereby instead of using all three credit repositories, they'll now only be using, possibly only using two credit repositories. And we discussed that. But a lot of the underwriting guidelines are going to be based on, again, those two softwares, Vantage Score 4.0 and the FICO 10T. So I want to make sure that I put these things up on the screen. So there are some things here that you can do in terms of, I hope you can see that, in terms of some modifications that have been made to reform the Consumer Borrowing Protection Act. The reporting guidelines specifically having to do with paid collections, any medical bill that you have that's below, it's $500 or below, and it's been paid, that's going to be removed from your report. It'll be excluded. And then also, if you have a medical debt that's below $500 that has not been paid yet, you get a 180-day grace period before they begin to report it. So that's something that you want to take a look at. And so negative items have to be fully documented now. They have to be verified within 30 days or removed. That's why I talked to you in the last video regarding the letters that could go out that will help you in communicating with the credit repositories, whatever company furnished the information to the credit repository, and also your directly to your creditor. There are some letters that you can send. We talked to you about every one of the letters in the section of that particular guideline that letter was derived from, its purpose, and when you send it out. That all of that is in a previous video that we did today on Super Real Estate Sunday. All right. So let's get back to the programs that are available for financing. All right, so we've got the Rural Economic Development Loan Grant Program that's available. It helps individuals who are interested in developing rural property for the sake of residential growth. All right, and then you've got the Community Development Block Grant that's available. Now, some people use this particular grant in their city limits as well as in rural areas. It's designed to help to increase economic development so that if you're producing jobs, if you're increasing the job market in the rural areas, this fund is available and you'll be able to apply for it and possibly obtain funding that will help you in land acquisition. This one is the Economic Development Fund, and this is on a state level, as I mentioned before. The Economic Development Fund is on a state level. And so many states, specifically Alabama, will administer this Economic Development Fund to provide grants for the infrastructure and site development of land. These funds can cover water, sewage, road improvements, even land related costs tied to expansion. So if this is specifically for business expansion. So if your company, your corporation is interested in purchasing land, but you need financial assistance in setting up the infrastructure. I mean, you can buy the land, but that's pretty much all you can do because you're in a position where you might be unable to develop it in whatever ways. This helps you cover water, sewer costs, road improvements or development, even any kind of land related cost that's tied to business expansion or job creation. If you're going to be creating jobs in rural areas, this Economic Development Fund that's released on a state level is available to you. So the grant has a ceiling. It's around $400,000, and it has requirements for, so if you say that you're going to provide certain types of jobs, then it has a job commitment requirement that they hold you to when they release these funds to you. The next type of loan is the local revolving loan. Local revolving loan. All right, this loan is funded through the USDA and also state administered programs. It's to assist with local utilities and municipalities, and it's often established for a revolving fund or in the form of a revolving fund. Yeah. So it's a revolving fund that can be tapped into for the purchase of land and development projects. So if you're a part of an organization and you guys are looking to establish an agricultural community, all right, but you're going to need local utilities, and you're going to need to set up your local municipalities in the agricultural community that you want to establish. You want to purchase, 50, 60 acres of land, and you want to set up like a homestead, a community agriculture development there. All right. You're going to start a community, an agricultural community there. You purchase land for that. You're going to start subdividing and setting up that land so that you can develop it, maybe 10-acre lots, 10-acre lots in that development, or 5-acre lots in that development, right? Okay, you're going to need local utilities and municipalities set up and established from the ground up. This revolving fund can help you to provide finances for the purchase of the land and the development of the land. These are particularly useful for small businesses, for corporations, for nonprofits looking to expand facilities in rural areas. Local revolving fund. All right, local revolving loan fund. The last one that we're going to end with today is specialized housing and community revitalization grants. Yeah, specialized housing and community revitalization grants. All right. So these type of programs fund housing and rehabilitation for neighborhoods and for the revitalization of different neighborhoods. Now, it can include also land acquisition, so you can purchase land for different projects. You may want to expand into the rural areas and create some type of affordable housing in the rural areas, right, where they have the acreage and such, but you're making it affordable. And you're going to include some type of agricultural development. It's not necessary to include agricultural development, but it's a good idea if you're going to expand into the rural areas. These grants are especially targeted towards low income, senior, or disabled populations. It makes a pathway for them to secure land for housing related developments. You can get this done in the city, but you can also use it for rural funding as well. Listen, I hope this has been beneficial for you. So what we're going to explore possibly on next week's real estate program, as we talk about Super Real Estate Sunday, we're going to be talking about exploring rural economic development, loan and grant programs. We're going to talk a little bit about reviewing community development and also block grant loan acquisitions. We talked a little bit about that, but we didn't expand into it today like we're going to do next week. And we're going to compare some of the state level economic development funding program and opportunities with some of the local. When I say local, I'm talking about local rural areas. All right. We're also going to talk about revolving loan funds and how, when they support land purchase, where did that money coming from? How they're going to determine who gets what and how much allocation is involved. What's the ceiling on that? We're going to talk about that. And we're going to investigate housing and revitalization grants that are available for rural areas, for land in certain areas, not just in the city. So I hope this has been beneficial to you. I want to remind you that there are all kinds of opportunities that are available if you're interested in becoming a landowner. Yeah, there are all kinds of opportunities available. And I want to be available as a resource in any way possible. That's my job as a land professional. So I want to remind you, whether you are buying or selling or developing your land, yeah, no matter what your land journey may be. I'm Jacqueline Battle, National Land Realty, and I want to remind you that this whole land journey is a step towards building something eternal. So when you take a look at it, don't just look at it based on what you're doing today or the next 1 or 2 decades. No. You want to look at this from a different standpoint so that you know how to build. So it doesn't matter whether you're buying, it doesn't matter whether you're selling, or whether you're developing, your land journey, your individual land journey, your corporate land journey, your family's land journey, your journey is a step towards building something that's eternal. Yeah. Meditate on that. Building something that's eternal. Well, I'm Jacqueline Battle, National Land Realty, and I'm reminding you to build something that's eternal. Thank you.